Hello, everyone! I know it's been a while since I did a vlog, but this week's kind of been busy. Next week's kind of been busy, but I have plans for getting back into everything, so look forward to that. What I want to talk about this episode is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Kind of like when I started watching it. I started watching Buffy in, I'm assuming, 2003, because it's when 2003 would probably be when I got my username that I used much longer than I should have, Vampdo. And I got into vampires through Buffy, so I'm assuming that's when I started. My family got into Buffy when we were visiting my Uncle Don. While we were there chatting and all that, Buffy was playing in the background. And then, mid-conversation, cousin Megan goes, "Shh! Spike is talking!" And Mom just says, "Who's Spike?" And Megan's like, "Ooh, you don't know who Spike is. We gotta fix that." Then Spike came on TV, and Mom just like, "Oh, so that's Spike." And then Mom declared that we would not be leaving without Buffy on DVD. So they went to season 1. I remember I was not really wanting to watch it at first, because I don't fare well with scary things. But I gave it a shot, and I was happy to see that wasn't that scary. I was expecting vampires, like, scary. But no, it's much better. It's good scary. Some parts are really scary, though. Like, Hush still scares me. After that, we then had this constant battle of trying to decide, should we watch the next episode, or should we save it? So it's like trying to balance the binge watching. Then I'd go to school and talk to all my friends. One or two of my friends were already into Buffy, and they were like, "Oh, okay, awesome, we gotta talk to you about it." Other friends were not into Buffy, and they're like, "Can you stop talking about this, please?" I did not stop talking about it. I made them watch Buffy, and now they talk about it with me. I don't remember much about watching it for the first time. I do remember one time we're about to call it a night because it was just late. But then Mom said the next episode was titled Angel. Well, and Mom's like, "We can't go to bed. No one's going to bed yet. We are watching this episode because I want to know about Angel. Because he's just such a mystery." And that was like one of the biggest surprises of all of Buffy, I think. I'm rewatching Buffy now with the Sunnydale Study Group, where I got my library card all laminated. Fancy. Last check out, Pokemon. Cartoons or cryptozoology? Why you shouldn't wait to find out. Speaking of Pokemon, I'm going to be playing Pokemon again, starting probably next week. Or the week after. What was that? Like, is that like a segue? No, I'm still talking about Buffy. And I was just going to listen to the podcast, but like after listening to about 5 minutes, I had to put it on pause and say, I have rewatched Buffy many times. I've seen the first episode at least 7 times. The last time I saw it was just a few months ago. But I don't remember it well enough to really be following the podcast. So, excuse to watch Buffy again. So then I paused the podcast, put on Netflix, and started watching Buffy. In the first couple episodes, there's Luke. Luke is probably one of my favorite vampires. He's only in like those 2 episodes, but he's so good. And I want to talk about him a bit, because Luke is awesome. Luke is like the right-hand man of the Master for the beginning. And he seems like almost a different kind of vampire, because he is significantly stronger than most vampires. And also, I just love him because of some of his lines, like, and he has those like lines of scripture, and he says stuff like, "The sleeper will wake, and the world will bleed." Or just like those little like one-lines of, "You are strong. I'm stronger." I love that line. "I'm stronger." And also he has that voice. That voice that's so deep and powerful. I can't do a good impression of it, or else I would. So you just get that impression. So he has that scripture and his devotion to the Master, which I really enjoy. But also one thing is that you always see Luke in his vamp getup. And it might be just because like he's only in a couple episodes, so it's just easier to have him constantly in the makeup. But I also kind of feel like he's around enough that we could see him morph, possibly. other vampires, like, yeah, you're in this for like this one scene or something. You're gonna be in vamp makeup. We're not gonna use CGI or whatever. It's not worth it. But Luke, I say, even if he was a character for like for the rest of the series, maybe, I don't think he'll ever morph. He'll just stay all vampy and bumpy. And I think it's because of how old he is. It's never said how old Luke is. The only reference to anything in his past was like the last time someone fought him and survived, which was like 1840 something. So he's at least 200 or 300 years old. But let's say he's like older than Darla, so like 500 plus. It'll also explain why he's so much stronger than other vampires. When vampires get older, they kind of go through like a certain metamorphosis. Like the Master, he looks completely different from any other vampire. We do not know if that has to do with maybe he did some magic to make him stronger and made him look different, or what happened. But so it's never explicitly said with the Master. It is said with later seasons with Kakistos, that he is such an old vampire that he kind of morphed a bit, like his hands became webbed. And I say basically the same thing happened with the Master, just in a different way. He got so old and so powerful that the demon inside of him outweighs the human inside of him. And I am believing that Luke is at that tipping point. He's look like other vampires still because he's still young enough. But he's at a certain point where maybe he can't even morph into a human shape. Maybe he doesn't want to because he's such a higher being, and to disguise himself as a human is disgraceful. Or maybe it's just because like he can't, because like that's just his face now. And then as he continually grows older for a couple more centuries, he will be more like the Master. So yeah, that's kind of like a little bit of a Buffy rant for me. I am often coming up with wacky Buffy things because Buffy is one of my top 5 favorite shows of all time, and I like talking about it. So if you haven't already, I recommend you check out Sunnydale Study Group because they are really fun and enjoyable. Well, if you want, you can get your own library card because they're cool like that. They send you library cards. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Comment with your favorite vampire in the description. Luke is not really my absolute favorite, but he is one of my favorites just because of... It would have been so awesome if he had more. But you get what you get. So, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.